Have you ever wondered if it's possible to escape time itself? To fall asleep and wake up in a completely different world? Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible stories ever told. A story of faith, courage, and a miracle that defies our understanding of time. This is the story of the people of the cave, or Ashab-e-Kahf. Imagine a city long ago, ruled by a tyrannical king. This king commanded everyone to worship stone idols, and the people, out of fear, obeyed. But in this great city lived a small group of young men. They weren't soldiers or nobles. They were just ordinary youths, but with extraordinary hearts. While everyone else bowed to false gods, these young men stood tall. They looked at the statues and then looked at the heavens. And they knew, deep in their souls, that there was only one true creator. They would meet in secret, strengthening each other's faith. They whispered to one another, "Our Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. We will never call upon any god besides him." Their belief was a quiet rebellion, a flickering light in an age of darkness. But secrets, especially those that challenge a king, rarely stay hidden for long. Word of their monotheism reached the palace, and the king was enraged. He summoned them to his court. Surrounded by guards and idols, the king gave them an ultimatum. "Abandon your god and bow to my idols, or face a painful death." The pressure was immense. Their families, their futures, their very lives were on the line. What would you do in that situation? Would you compromise your beliefs to survive? These young men, filled with a divine courage, looked the king in the eye and refused. They declared their faith openly, choosing God over the king and truth over their own safety. Knowing that the king would soon hunt them down, they made a heart-wrenching decision. They had to leave everything behind, their homes, their families, their entire world, to protect the one thing they valued more than life itself, their faith. So under the cover of night, they slipped out of the city gates and escaped into the wilderness. As they journeyed into the rugged, unfamiliar mountains, a loyal dog, seemingly out of nowhere, began to follow them. They tried to shoo it away, worried it might draw attention, but the dog refused to leave their side. It was as if this animal recognized the purity of their mission and wanted to be their guardian. Exhausted, hungry, and uncertain of their future, they finally stumbled upon a dark, quiet cave. It seemed like the perfect hiding place. Inside, they found shelter from the world that had rejected them. In that moment of complete vulnerability, with nothing but the clothes on their backs and the faith in their hearts, they raised their hands in prayer. They didn't ask for wealth or power. They simply prayed, "Our Lord, grant us mercy from yourself, and guide us rightly in our affair." And in that humble cave, Allah answered their prayer in the most miraculous way imaginable. A profound peace washed over them, and one by one, they drifted into a deep, deep sleep. The loyal dog lay at the entrance, guarding them. This was no ordinary nap. This was a divine slumber, a pause in the fabric of time, orchestrated by the Almighty. As they slept, the world outside marched on. The cruel king they fled from grew old and died. His empire crumbled. New rulers came and went. Wars were fought, cultures shifted, and entire generations lived and passed away. The sun would rise and set, but its rays would only gently graze the entrance of the cave, never fully touching the sleepers, preserving them from decay. Time, for them, had frozen. They were hidden in plain sight, protected by a power far greater than any king. 1 year turned into 10, 10 into 100, 100 into 200, and then 300 years passed. 3 centuries. Imagine that. The world had transformed completely. The old pagan religion had vanished, and the people of the land had now embraced the belief in the one true God, the very belief the young men had risked their lives for. Then, by Allah's command, the sleepers began to stir. They blinked, stretched, and yawned, feeling as if they had only slept for a day, or perhaps just part of a day. One of them asked, "How long have we been asleep?" Another replied, "Maybe a day or half a day." They were completely unaware of the centuries that had slipped by. Feeling hungry, they decided to send one of their companions, with the old silver coins they had, back into the city to secretly buy some food. The chosen youth cautiously made his way out of the cave and down the mountain. But as he approached the city, he froze in utter disbelief. Nothing was familiar. The buildings were different, the people's clothes were strange, and he even overheard them speaking in a way that sounded both old and new. He thought he had stumbled into a different city altogether. Anxiously, he found a food seller and tried to buy some bread. He handed over one of his silver coins. The shopkeeper's eyes went wide. He looked at the coin, then at the young man's old-fashioned clothes, and then back at the coin. It was ancient. He thought the young man had discovered a hidden treasure. A crowd started to gather, all buzzing with excitement and confusion. The news spread like wildfire, reaching the city's new, righteous ruler. The young man was brought before him. Terrified and confused, he tried to explain that he was from this very city, and that he had fled from a cruel king just yesterday. When he mentioned the name of the king, everyone fell silent. That king had been a figure from history, from over 300 years ago. It was then that the truth began to dawn on everyone. The story of the youths who had disappeared for their faith was a local legend, a tale passed down through generations. And now one of them was standing right here, alive. The people, along with their king, followed the young man back to the cave. When they arrived, the other sleepers came out to greet them. The miracle was undeniable. Here were the young men from the legend, preserved perfectly by God's will for over 3 centuries. Their story became a living, breathing testament to Allah's power over life, death, and time itself. It was proof of the resurrection that people had begun to doubt. The faith they had sacrificed everything for was now the faith of the entire nation. Their mission was complete. They had served as a profound sign for all of humanity. Having fulfilled their purpose, the young men returned to their cave one last time, lay down, and their souls peacefully departed to their Lord. They passed away, leaving behind a legacy that would never be forgotten. The cave became a sacred place, a reminder for all believers. It taught them that no matter how overwhelming the forces of disbelief and tyranny may seem, true power belongs only to Allah. It showed that anyone who stands firm for their faith with a pure heart will never be abandoned. God's protection and mercy can transcend the very laws of nature. The story of the people of the cave is more than just a historical account. It's a message of hope for every single one of us. It reminds us that even when we feel lost, alone, or powerless, our faith is our strongest shield. It teaches us that sincerity in our belief can lead to miracles we can't even fathom. And most importantly, it proves that those who entrust their affairs to God will always be guided and protected in this life and the next. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through time. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that inspires the soul. Let us know in the comments what lesson you took from this amazing story. Until next time, stay blessed.